everybody, I am Megan, also known as Reading with Hot Chocolate. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Half King by Melissa Landers. I seem to be on a romantasy roll right now, so let's just keep going with it, shall we? Half King was a book that I picked up because it was a book club pick, and I got it in a book swap, and I had no expectations, and I have found that sometimes when you have no expectations of a book, it will surprise you, and this is the case with The Half King. So we have some main characters. We have Sarai, and I'm not 100% sure on these pronunciations. This is just how I pronounced them when I read it, so sorry, Melissa Landers, if I get it wrong. So we have Sarai, and she is supposed to be a seer because we are in a universe where we have a goddess and she was a real living person, and then the aristocratic families decided, no, we want to be in charge, not you. So they plotted to kill her, and in her revenge, she gave each of the bloodlines kind of a curse that their descendants would have to deal with when they became of a certain age. So the king's family, Kian, something similar, he disappears at night. He becomes like a shadow and he disappears. And then others get infinite knowledge, and so they basically kind of go mad because they learn everything there is to know in the world, so it drives them crazy. Sarai's family, they have ultimate beauty if you're the firstborn. This only applies to the firstborns. So if you're the firstborn in Sarai's family, you have like this extraordinary beauty that like you can just charm everybody. Her sister wears a veil a lot because she's just too damn pretty for the world, basically. So yeah, there's a couple of different curses floating around out there, and they're worried because the king doesn't have an heir. So the king has a courtesan, and they all are just like waiting for the moment because they need an heir, because eventually the king will just disappear with this curse and we need somebody in his place, right? Sarai is the second born. Like I said, she has an older sister, so she's supposed to have like the ability to be a seer, and it's just not happening for her. No one can really figure out what's going on, but you get this feeling that like everybody thinks she's something more, that there's more to her and to her story, and she gets yanked out of this temple where she's lived her whole life, because you basically give your secondborn over to the temple and you're like, hey, they're your problem now. So Father Padron is the head of the temple. We don't like him. I wrote in my book journal next to him, fuck the patriarchy, and started singing the 10-minute all too well. We don't like him. He's not nice. She gets called to go work for the king, and they're hoping that she will be able to help break this curse, that she will be able to read the old journals of people and break this curse, because they need the king to stay alive so that he can still be the king, because God only knows what's going to happen if the king disappears before the king has an heir. See the problem here. Because clearly the goddess is smarter than all of them, and she was like, ha 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 ha, I'm going to make life hard for you. So Sarai is very, very traditionally minded because she was raised in the temple. She doesn't really think outside the box very much. So she's trying to go through these old journals, try to piece it together. Then she meets Derek, and he's a historian, and he really is kind of the instigator for her opening up her thoughts and her minds of maybe everything she knows isn't actually how the world works. And he kind of plants little seeds as they go of questions that she should be asking of the church, and whether what she's been told her whole life is accurate or not. So I quite liked him. I also like Nero. He is their magical tour guide because, shocking, in a romantasy, they have to go on a journey because you can't break a curse if you stay in the castle. So they head out on a journey because they're trying to figure out how to break this curse, and they think maybe they have an idea. So they head off on a journey, and it's a long journey. And of course, on this journey, smutty things have to happen in a romantasy. So we get a little bit of our smut between Sarai and the king. And that's always fun times for those who enjoy the romance side of romantasy. And Nero is able to do magic, which he shouldn't be able to do because magic is kind of like hoarded by the priest, which, shocker. No shock here, guys. Let's be honest. In a patriarchal society, the priests probably have all the power, and that's fine for now, but whatever. And so he has magic that he shouldn't be able to do, and the priest can like sense magic, so he has to be really careful when he is using his magic on this journey, because if he is caught, then the priest could kill him. So, like I said, we don't like Father Padron. He could kick rocks. Oh, we do learn really early on that Sarai's parents are hiding something, because somebody comes up to her at the court and is like, you look really familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? Like, have your parents been in court? And she's like, no, like, we're just regular old people, like, no big deal. And it just kind of keeps happening. And so she calls her parents and they're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then everything's totally normal. Like, have a great time. Go break the curse. Bye. And like hang up really quickly. So you know that they're dodging the question. But what that is, you're just going to have to read the book and find out, because there are so many twists. The last 75 pages of this book is like the gas pedals to the floor and we're driving 100. It's just nonstop twist. You learn so many things about so many characters, and it's actually insane. This is book 1. I'm sure there's going to be a book 2, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to read book 2. So I feel like that's a pretty good indication of how much I enjoyed book 1. Some of my friends also, obviously from that book club Reddit, some of them agreed that the first part was a little slow at times. It kind of plodded. You're like, okay, let's go. Let's get to the action. But once you kind of get hooked into the world and get a feel for what that universe is, it's go time. And you're like, oh my God, I need to know everything about all these people and all the things they're hiding. And it's great. I gave it 4 hot chocolates, which is 4 stars if you are new here, because I'm reading with hot chocolate. So I rate things in hot chocolate cups. So I gave it 4 hot chocolates, which is fantastic rating. I highly recommend go and check it out. Make sure you read the epilogue, because the epilogue is gonna spin your brain off into this like stratosphere of trying to figure out like, what the hell just happened? And what does that mean for book 2? Because it's gonna be crazy, guys. So, go check out The Half King by Melissa Landers if you are looking for a new romantasy. I actually got the really fancy sprayed edges. And you know how I feel about sprayed edges, right? We know that sometimes you get hosed with sprayed edges. This is not one of those times. Also has some art in there to give you an idea of maybe what some of these guys look like. There you go. And Fairy Loot had a really pretty copy of this, and I will say that the Kian Fairy Loot is way hotter than this Fabio guy here. But yes, this is the cover of the book. Go and check it out. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe so you get those alerts every time I post a new video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day.